Hi kids, it's Bunny with another junk journal, and this one I'm calling Magic Spring. And let me pull out a little. Magic Spring. It is hardback with pretty flower fabric covering it, and it's a pretty lacy sash holding it together, and underneath that you could see a beautiful huge applique and a fairy and flowers picture. And this is very fairies and flowers oriented. Let's get this in the right place. Opening inside, we have a sparkly pocket with a journaling card, which is blank on the back. All journaling cards are blank on the back, so you can write on them. And there's a gold-tipped feather. There's another card, journaling card. It's in the style of a postcard. And here's a miniature envelope with pretty birds on it. Inside are a miniature journaling card. And this is a note for the purchaser of the journal, explaining what a junk journal is and how it can be used. There's a pretty fairy with a pretty butterfly. And in the first tuck in here, we have a journaling card with a fairy poem on it. There's a tag. All the tags, most of them are blank on the back, so you can journal on them also. They're very large tags. And some vintage tickets. And there's lace on the edges of many of the pages. And there's coffee dyed pages that you can write on, and there's just a pretty pink textured page. This is a page from a vintage book of some sort, foreign book. And here's some coffee dyed ledger paper with a little bit of wallpaper on the edge. And here's a coffee dyed doily. In this pocket, side pocket, there's journaling cards and a teensy weensy little envelope, and it's got a what's it got in it? It's got teensy weensy butterfly and button inside. And here's another tag. And this is a miniature journal with miniature ephemera. And you can jot down thoughts in there. There's a little bag. Very cute. Get in there. Stay in there. Another vintage book page from an encyclopedia. Here's some vintage wallpaper. And there's a little fairy charm. Not vintage, but very cute. See what I did there? And this is vintage sheet music cover. More vintage sheet music. And journaling cards. And this tag has a pocket on the back with a long journaling card in it. And here is some vintage ephemera. It is an invoice from Armour Star Ham Company. Somebody bought a ham, but no, looks like they bought lamb. Well, anyway, and it's 1938 is the date on that. And here is a little envelope, and it's got a journaling card inside it. I won't undo it now. More wallpaper. Here's a pocket with some vintage buttons on their original card. 29 cents. Worth every penny. Journaling card. And a journaling card. And another miniature envelope. Let's zoom in a little. Yeah, with a miniature journaling card in it. And there's an applique. And in this tuck, there's a pretty journaling card. And a vintage photograph of a guy and two ladies. They seem to have flowers in their arms. A tag and a vintage, this is some sort of ticket, I think. It's foreign. It's a foreign ticket of some sort. Vintage. There's some more vintage wallpaper. More vintage book page. There's a doily. And here's some journaling cards. And this is vintage Valentine's. Let's ride along together, Valentine. And it was made out to Jim Spiegel was the name on the back. So I guess he gave it to someone. Is this where it was? No. Is this where it was? This is where it was. And there's a tag. This is another one with a pocket on the back with a little journaling card. And yet another little envelope, and I'm sure it has journaling cards inside of it. Several. And there's a page out of a vintage ledger I found at someone's library. And in the side pocket there's a journaling card and a vintage photograph. And this is a vintage, I think it's like a place marker. I think you fold this and it stands up and you put the name of the person that's supposed to sit there on it. That's what I think it is. Lots of pretty little things to discover. Here is a little notebook with just some papers in it. And it's another journaling card. And yet another. And a tag. And this is a vintage playing card with a colorful owl on it. And in this pocket there's journaling cards, and a tag, and a ticket, vintage ticket of some sort. And this is a vintage label from a crate of lettuce seeds. Not the envelope, but the label on the crate. And it's a page out of a children's book, obviously. More wallpaper. There's another side pocket with dreamy journaling cards. And there's a parrot and his drink. Another vintage photograph. And another miniature envelope with various little thingies inside. Thingies, that's a technical term. This is a big square doily, which I've folded up into a pocket. And we've got a journaling card. And I'm shaky today. Another journaling card. And some sheet music. To thank your folks. Perry Como, I believe. Used to be in love with him when I was a little girl. And let's see. Journaling card. And a journaling card. And a teensy-tiny little envelope. And it's got teensy-tiny something inside. And this is some vintage ephemera from 1939. Cigar manufacturer's receipt. Another journaling card. I think it's upside down. No, that's right set up. That's right set up. Yeah. Tropical flowers. And some more journaling cards. Here's more pretty journaling cards. And this is a vintage library catalog card. And then another tag. And here is an envelope. It's held on with a, what do you call that? Paper clip. And inside of it is a pretty journaling card. I won't take it out. And in this side top there's a vintage photograph and another little miniature journal with miniature things in it. More vintage wallpaper. And more journaling cards. And this is another tag with a pocket on the back. And this is a vintage letter from, I'm not sure what the date is, but it's the 30s probably, and it's got a real letter inside that you can read. And here's another journaling card. And there's a tag, and there's more vintage ephemera. This is some sort of like a deed of 160 acres in Nebraska. No interest. Anyway, it's really, it's a funny little note, kind of. And more pretty cards. And this is paper 50 cents, apparently. And there's a tag. And in the back, there's a journaling card and a vintage photograph and a tag and another envelope with cards inside, some ephemera. And that's the journal, all ready for spring gardening. So visit my shop on Etsy, Bunny's Treasure Journals, and I'll see you next time. Bye.